Collective. Hey, what is going on? Happy spring equinox, blessed Ostara. So excited to be here with you today on this beautiful spring day. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we are going to be looking at the energy around the spring equinox, the next 3 months or so before we hit summer solstice, kind of what's on the horizon for us. Spring is in the air, I guess, depending on where you are located in the world, but it is definitely exciting. It feels hopeful. It feels like renewal. So we're going to dive into that energy today via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you are enjoying this beautiful day. It's gorgeous here. The sun is shining. It feels really good, like I said, and pretty hopeful. It's nice too because all of our planets have gone direct. We just entered Aries season. Mercury is going direct today as well. And so, like I said, it puts a little bit of a hopeful spin on things. The spring equinox is all about finding balance. It's where there's balance between day and night, so to speak, on the time schedule, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I might be quoting that wrong. But I know balance is definitely a thing to be aware of, to pay attention to today. It's also about planting seeds. It's a great time to set intentions. We're still feeling that new moon in Pisces energy. And even though it was in Pisces, not specifically Aries, it's a good time to wrap up, to close out certain cycles, things that aren't making us feel great or really just don't feel in alignment with us anymore. And yes, that can be emotional. That can mean a lot of things. It can bring up a lot of things, a lot of places that maybe we weren't even aware of, is what I'm hearing. Like some of the stuff you might be navigating right now is also a shell shock to you, right? Like as you're kind of just like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be in this place or that this would happen or whatever that might be. And even though some of those things can be difficult, bitter pills to swallow, at the same time, they're highlighting what those disconnects are, how we welcome them into our life, or maybe they kind of get by without us even noticing, and how we can do some re-regulation, right? Remembering that this isn't necessarily a stopping point. It's not an end point. It's actually a refresh, a renewal, like I was talking about, which is also symbolism of the spring equinox. I love this time of year. I mean, where I live, we have all 4 seasons. So this time of year feels like a breath of fresh air. We made it through the long, hard winter, and now we are ready to begin again. And with Aries season afoot, we are in the beginning of the new zodiac cycle. It's a really good time with that new moon in Pisces energy just to still be mindful, still be reflective, especially as to how things are hitting us, not only on the mental, emotional, but what we're picking up, what we're sensing, what we're feeling. Neptune and Saturn are in Aries as well right now. And so it's helping us realign with self. There is work to be done. That goes without saying, whether we like it or not. I feel like that's some of the stuff that the obstacles that we're hitting begrudgingly, needing to do certain things for ourselves in our lives to just give us that added layer of success, manifestation, whatever you're going after, etc. And but you got it, right? Things are moving forward, and that's the bottom line. Things are feeling hopeful, and you can move at whatever pace you want, right? It doesn't mean that just because there's certain things available in the astrology or the energy or whatever that we're going to necessarily be in the right place to grab a hold of that. Yes, in an ideal world, but life also happens. And like I said, there's a lot of twists and turns that we are currently navigating. So we're going to look at, like I said, the next few months, what things are looking like, what we need to kind of be aware of, what's working, what's not, what needs to be shifted, adjusted, etc. But I do really like to start off my readings with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe of the reading, cleanse out those places where we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. Spirit is always looking to speak to us, and oftentimes we just have to ask and then be open to what the answer is. And it's a great time to do it, especially during these lives. You can also feel free to drop comments below. I love chatting, engaging, etc., talking about collective energy. I think it can be really beneficial for, whoever is involved. And it is also a way that Spirit speaks to us, is through collective energy, through other people's experiences. We're all united, right? At the base point. It might not seem like that on the surface level because life is crazy, but I also offer a variety of healing wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of a realignment of self, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we're in alignment, our mind, our body, our soul, that's really where we're manifesting our best life, right? We're happy, we're fulfilled, we're successful because the things we put our energy towards are actually happening. But we have to feel good. We have to be aligned in order to do so. And I would love to support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. And my website hopefully will be up by the end of the month. I'm really kind of trying to plug into that Aries energy and tie up some loose ends in my own life. So stay tuned. All right, with that, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so I may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Ooh. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right. I feel like I'm getting this energy of just like holding on to things. Sorry about that. I should have turned off my do not disturb, or I don't know. I think that's the way to do it. I apologize. So I'm hearing, like holding on to things too tightly, or there might even be some procrastination around certain things that you're not really addressing, that are kind of falling between the cracks, slipping between the cracks. Mortar and Pedestal talks about integration, subtlety, and thoroughness, right? So following through is what I'm hearing. Actually following through with your game plans. And like I said, this is a really beautiful time of year to do so. We move from a lot of heavy energy. The holiday season is active, this stuff, and then it just feels like after Aquarius season, Pisces season can feel a little bit like a slump, And I feel like we're coming out of that with this fire energy. There's also been a lot of stagnation in the astrology. So we got to make sure that we're not flying out of the gate too quickly. Yes, as long as you're on top of your game, maybe I should put that little caveat there, making sure that you're on top of your things, on top of yourself, but also making sure that there is this level of follow through, right? That you're not just rushing ahead to accomplish a thing, making sure like the lessons that you've learned over the last few months are really, you're actually putting them into practice, putting them into play. Because this energy does feel really hopeful. And as I was looking over the astrology for the next few months, we don't have any planets going into retrograde until beginning of May. And even so, it's going to be Pluto, which we're doing a lot of change intrinsically with how the astrology is playing out. Things are just naturally happening, and we have to decide whether we're going to get on board or not. Kind of like I was saying earlier, like you don't have to do a thing, right? It's just also realizing that we're expecting if we don't actively participate. Okay, I love this. Overarching energy. So you're putting a lot of time, energy, intention into your abundance, your persistence, proliferation is what mint symbolizes. If you are into ritual ceremony, well, today is a great day to build an altar, you know, plant some seeds, whether they're like physical, you know, or setting that intention. It can be your own intention for yourself, for your life, how you want to actually grow and build this abundance. You can do a little fire ritual around it. I love the fire. I feel like it's very, very significant. It connects us with that process of transformation. And that can be a little challenging right now because of the things that we're holding on to, or the things that maybe we don't 100% want to acknowledge, or, you know, whatever it is, whatever's just kind of blocking us from connecting with this abundance. But it looks like that is where your main focal point is. It could be financial. It doesn't have to be. Don't pick it up. Don't, you know, feel all frustrated if you're not, you know, money is very nice. We need it to be sustainable in our lives, but it's not the only form of abundance. And as I'm seeing this energy, I don't think it is for you either. Like, yes, again, it plays a role, but it's not your main focal point. Because I see you gathering, or you've been gathering a lot of your resources, spending time and energy to refine different aspects, different areas of your life. And what you're doing is working, which is really beautiful. So keep doing what you're doing on that level of not only refinement, but just, again, it's that self-investment. It's the strong foundation that you're setting for yourself, putting people, dynamics into their right place, right order, making sure you're having your boundaries, etc. But it does, like, it's interesting because as I'm saying that, where there is some stagnation or where things are not working, is you might be feeling a little closed off or staying a little closed off. Not, I heard like spreading your seed, but I don't mean it in that way. I was like seeing someone, you know, throw their seeds out into the field or whatever. But this is more that idea of bringing in new things, newness, right? Getting out of your day-to-day run-of-the-mill activity, needing to actually bring in some new ideas or venture out into the unknown, changing up your schedule a little bit, because I feel like this is very important. This is very intrinsic to making this abundance an actual thing in your life. Not an actual thing, but like a strong like part of your foundation. And something like the cornerstone, something that you can't be without or live without. In a way that it's not fleeting, right? It's not just for this moment in time, this space in life. It's more about the longevity. That's what you're cultivating right now. So interestingly enough, this This season is, or this time of year is about making sure that we are remaining balanced. And where you might be getting a little bit tripped up is too much, like, okay, so this is relaxation, too much gentleness. This might be a little bit of hypersensitivity, like, especially if you've come from a rough time where things are easily triggering you, or you easily get distracted, or I don't know. Like, this feels a little bit like being overly coddled. And I'm not saying that you're doing that to yourself, or, you know, give yourself what you need, but make sure it doesn't become to your detriment. Make sure it doesn't become something that I'm hearing it's like a key part of where some of this stagnancy is working against you. And I feel like some of this stuff you're still figuring out, but as I'm seeing this energy as well, it also looks like you are better off, better situated than maybe what you even understand yourself to be. And so that's where sometimes the mental, emotional can be a little bit detrimental. If we've had people not believe in us, kind of poo-poo the things that we desire, what we want, make mean accusations about our character, smear campaign, etc. All those things can be hard to rewire your brain around. I feel like you're really seeking a lot of safety and support and nurture through this abundance that you're building. And so you don't want to, so it's like you're very mindful about who and what can infiltrate that. But what it's saying, again, it's highlighting that you're stronger than what you even know, or what you're even perceiving. Like, understanding that you are way more grounded than what you're giving yourself clarity for. You might be a little bit, like I said, it could be hypersensitive, hypercritical, hyperjudgmental. Your boundaries are 10 feet high, you know, whatever it might be. And I'm not harping on it, because I'm sure as I'm saying this, I'm like, it serves a purpose. Like, it feels like it's legit. It's not just you being a stick in the mud or trying to be mean to people per se. It's just where you're coming from. And whatever has happened in the past, you've adjusted, you've realigned, you're doing really, really well. And now it's time to start putting some of that stuff into practice. And again, this is so you are, it's not even about yes, stronger foundation. I don't want to keep saying that, but it just feels like this is setting something up for yourself, for your life, right? It could even just be generational. It could just be how you're building your wealth. Maybe you're putting a new financial plan into play this year. Or what are we? Are we, oh yeah, because we're in a 10-year. So sorry, I had to calculate real quick. But it's interesting right now because it is a lot about this 10-year. It's closing out cycles. It's bringing things to a close so that we can open up into the new. And I'm seeing, like I said, we're in the third, almost fourth month of the year. So crazy that things have gone by this quickly already. And it's basically saying, like, you know, don't continually say, well, I can do that in the future. I can do that in the future. Make sure that you're actually being proactive. You're more ready, like I said, than what you even understand. I think this is about making choices too, because that's in your alignment energy, like how to align. You're getting hedge, potential, boundaries, indecision. So some of the indecision, the wishy-washy energy, you know, wanting new things to manifest, new goals, etc., but staying very self-protected, those are all kind of playing off of each other. It's a little counterintuitive, and I'm feeling like that's where some of the tension is coming into play for you. And we saw that popping up a lot, was that like last week, that internal conflict. This is about, and again, I think I'm seeing this more as you trusting yourself. because what needs to be revealed is this earthworm energy. And this feels grounded. I mean, I don't think you can get more grounded than an earthworm, you know? And it's also talking about clarity, but it signifies rumination as well. So when our mental, our emotional gets stuck in the past, and unfortunately or not, especially in places where there has been trauma, more intense endings, closures, things happening that really, you know, hurt deep, cut deep is what I was looking for. It's hard to repair, and the body does keep the score. So if you're coming from a space where there was a lot of trauma, was a lot of difficulty, there is a need to be gentle with self, right? To recognize that triggers do pop up, at any given time. I think this is part of your self-protection mode to some capacity, or even if it's not as intense, even if you don't feel like you've been traumatized, even if it's just like, you know, you're resetting the stage for your life. This is also making sure that you now have enough information that you need to know who and what is for you, right? Clarity has been revealed, and maybe you did have to go through a time where there was a lot of difficulty, messiness, life problem situations that had to be revealed, who's who, their character, what you're choosing, etc., and how to realign, right? How to not go back into those patterns. And I don't see that you are. I see this as more just like a little bit wounded, a little bit self-protected, not wanting to put yourself out there just to have some of this stuff happen again. And it's not going to. Eight of Wands reminds us, though, like, we don't really know unless we do put ourselves out there. Eight of Wands is all about its messages, its communication, it's things speeding up, it's manifestation, right? Like option. And this is what I'm hearing. There's been some annoyance about the stagnancy, right? This desire within us to have things move a little bit quicker. Well, if we kind of readjust how things are going, then they're going to. That's basically what that Eight of Wands is saying. And I feel like it's a delicate balance is what I'm hearing with this Hedge card, because it's recognizing that there is a lot of potential. There's endless potential around us, and that's the amazing thing. But it doesn't mean that we don't then, like, we still need boundaries. We still need to understand ourselves, understand who and what we're going to accept in our life in order to kind of best situate ourselves, right? And that's where I feel like you're holding that space of being open to newness, open to possibilities, with still having your boundaries up, still having some level of protection for yourself. And I think that that's where you'll figure that out. The more you put yourself out there, it might feel a little awkward. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable right off the bat, but the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. I love that the Ten of Cups is in the first card out. The first card is always the most potent card. Ten of Cups is about happiness, emotional fulfillment, connecting with those things that like really do make us feel good. And that's exactly what you're doing. The happier we are, the more we are filled with gratitude, love, appreciation. That is when abundance flows, right? And Ayurveda even looks at this like love helps open up the channels of flow, not only within our physiology, but the channels of prana, that life force energy, where competition, stress, anger, hate, it actually constricts. It literally constricts the blood. How, like the blood vessels, How crazy is that? So we think that those things don't have an effect, but they do. They not only have an effect on us, but they have an effect on our environment around us. And I don't think I need to preach this to you, so to speak, because it feels like you have a handle on that, a handle on those things. And you're excited. You're excited and hopeful about what's in store and about what is coming in for you. This is beautiful. Okay. Temperance energy. So there still is the practical component, remaining balanced in the process. Again, keeping yourself grounded, not getting too high in the sky. And what do I mean by that? Like too lost in the fantasy, the ideals, how things are going to manifest. That actually came up in our overarching energy today about, just not buying into the illusion, being better than the illusion. 3 of Cups, Knight of Cups. The people, the situations that are half-hearted, right? This is kind of just like half-ass. Maybe I'll say what you want to hear, but when it comes down to actually needing someone or something not being available, And here's the thing. I don't think that you're ignorant or naive to any of those things. I think that you do have a lot of clarity, and that can be a blessing and a curse. Because sometimes when we have that clarity, but people don't really want to be honest, about their true intentions or whatever that may be, it's really easy to let certain things slip, fall through the cracks. It's easy to, it just ends up building really superficial relationships and dynamics. And eventually those can get pulled out from underneath us. There's a lot of water today. Where are we at let me see. Let me pull up a chart for today. There's a lot of water today. King of Cups. I don't know. It's really interesting because in your environment, this does really look like people thinking or having a problem, an issue with how you are moving, how you are situating yourself. Lost in emotion, the 3 of Swords, grief, anger, or grief, sadness, the Knight of Cups comes out again. So there are, I think that, and we've kind of been seeing this a lot in our readings where like your energy's moving at a quicker pace than whatever is surrounding you. It's that value of like, you're growing, you're evolving, you're moving forward, and people can either get on that bandwagon or not. And I think it is kind of shaking out who and what is going to actually do that and give that to you. And that's the part of you that maybe is tripping up a little bit, right? Because we're also seeing certain people that we didn't expect fall into that category that we didn't expect. Or like I said, it's like, I will do this for lip service or say this to your face, but really my intentions are different behind your back type vibe. And you kind of just have to, like, to me, temperance is all about rolling with the punches. It's Sagittarian energy. So it is about tapping into our abundance and expanding our world in order to do that. But like I said, there's a difference between what we know we can achieve, what that future goal is, and what's actually happening in real time. And that's what we need to not get too distracted, because Ace of Coins is in your blocked energy. So whatever that new beginning looks like for you, it just hasn't quite manifested yet. And I think this is also tying back to this energy of planting seeds, that 8 of Wands that popped out. It's really important for you to put yourself out there or do what you like, whatever that is. Like, I just feel like you have to either get in front of people more, you have to make more connections, meet new people, new friends, put yourself out there for job, business, whatever you're kind of going after, whatever's on your mind right now, especially as it relates to your abundance and your stability. It's making sure that you are out there front and center. People know who you are. They know how to get into contact with you, because you do feel a little bit hermit energy. Again, I can't harp on it because it's like you're waiting and waiting and waiting, but that goes back to that 8 of Wands. Sorry, not to be redundant or cyclical with the messages. But as you do put yourself out there, it's going to feel like less like you're waiting so much. But there's our effing Hermit, man. I swear, the cards never lie. And it's interesting because as I'm pulling, we get 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Coins, and the Hermit. And it's like something keeps trying to pull you back in. Whether this is energetically, whether, however this fares for you, whether it's just your belief in yourself, you keep not feeling great about yourselves. Sorry. It feels a lot like needing to spend some time with yourself, to get really clear with who you are, and what you think about certain people, about certain situations, especially as it relates to people trying to pull at your energy, pull you back in. 5 of Pentacles is, well, you're not paying enough time, energy to me, and a little bit of temper tantrum with this King of Cups. And I think it's someone or something that keeps focusing on an issue that's no longer an issue. And that's where I'm seeing you like, I'm done and over with this. I'm already on to the next thing. And there's still this energy trying to rope you back in. But regardless of that, you keep pushing forward. It's not necessarily holding you back or holding you down. It feels more like dead weight, right? Like I'm seeing you carrying just like these heavy weights, these heavy blocks behind you. I don't know what kind of workout that is, but I'm seeing like, chains over the shoulder and just these like really heavy blocks, weighted blocks, and them being dragged. And that's how this energy feels, well, what about me? What about my feelings? And, for some reason, you're going to give it your attention for whatever reason, because you feel responsible. We get 4 of Swords energy. Different information. I don't think this is anything new. I feel like I've kind of been saying this message a lot, so we're going to move along. But whomever is feeling disappointed around this, again, it just feels like rejection. Like they're feeling rejected, or you're not giving them enough time, enough space that they think that they deserve. And it does make you think about it, because I don't know that you're necessarily trying to cause harm. I don't get that. I just feel like you're very focused on either your own life or kind of whatever you're growing and building. And so certain people, certain things are not necessarily catching your attention. And that might be hard for some people. Okay, interesting. Someone feels like you're not, like you're taking it for granted or something. Gosh, dude, we got the Knight of Cups a bunch. The King of Cups has come out. Ace of Cups, 4 of Cups, 3 of Cups. All right. I'm going to clarify this clarity real quick. It looks like there are some, gosh, dude, 2 of Cups, 2 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles. There's a lot of things that are up in the air. That's what I'm hearing. And especially as it comes to partnerships and relationships. And maybe it's just because you do have a lot of options, or as soon as you do put yourself out there, more options just keep popping up. And it makes a lot of sense, because as we move forward, like I said, until the beginning of May, we don't see any planets in retrograde. And I feel like it's giving you a lot of opportunities to try a lot of different things. This message has been popping up for us a lot lately too. But there is this level of like, I don't know if commitment's the right word, but this is more about like, don't shy away. Like, if you're interested in something, keep giving it a go. Keep giving it your time, your attention. Don't necessarily be like, oh yeah, well, I did that and now I'm on to the next thing. Because it feels like you might be a little wide-eyed or distracted, or like there are so many different options. And so there might be something that you might be missing along the way. I think but I also kind of see that infiltration of past energies. And when I'm talking about this can just even be like people and situations that have been in your environment for a long time that you're still dealing with. It doesn't even mean that you're cutting them out. Maybe someone does feel like you are. It's kind of how it looks, because I do see either like a lot of like begging energy, or you do have people that are pulling at you. You know, everybody wants something from you. And so what you do want to give your time and energy to, you just can't because. And so I think it kind of goes back to this level of refinement on some level, making sure that you are dotting your I's, crossing your T's. Ayurveda is huge into daily routine. And it is something that, like, as I kind of dive into that Ayurvedic lifestyle a little bit more and more each day. It's one of my favorite components because it is that value of maximum efficiency, minimum effort. And if you look at anybody across time who wrote a great work of art, wrote a great book, I was going to say like did a great work of art, invented something, etc. Generally speaking, they follow like a specific routine day in and day out, because it streamlines those things that can end up becoming distractions or draining of our energy. It's the same reason, from what I understand, I could be wrong, but what I've heard is it's the same reason that monks will wear the same plain clothes every single day, because it's one less thing that they have to do, one less thing that they have to decide on. So that kind of value of streamlining your energy. And I think you're the thing is you're gonna need it. And it might, as I'm saying this makes a lot more sense. It might kind of propel you into a place where I don't want to do that, putting it on the back burner, I'll get that done tomorrow, what, that kind of vibe. Especially because moving into this Aries season, there's been a lot of just general feelings of lethargy, like tired, exhaustion. There's a little bit of disillusionment in the air, which is kind of making things cloudy, foggy, etc. And so it's basically saying, like, don't let that put you into this mode of where you're backtracking on what you already have built, because you do have something up and running that is very good, that's very positive and very powerful. Trusting yourself a little bit more, putting yourself out there more. Obviously, knowing your boundaries is a very important part of that. Don't just do it just to get it done. Like I was saying, actually, like, make sure that you're putting in an honest investment, right? Like an honest, I'm going to go and figure out, discover whether this thing is worth my energy. Put yourself out there a little bit more. Oh, Bigfoot. Imagination. Okay. This can be where our imagination might be getting the best of us. This is the Fantastical Beast deck. I love it. It's so fun. Okay. So it says, let playfulness and joy ignite your imagination. So it's basically that value, like I was talking about not getting too wrapped up in even the grunt and grind. Yes, have that as your foundational point, like I was just saying, but let that be the thing that's helping you streamline so you can be stronger, be better, and more of this fun, playful energy, putting yourself out there, exploring your options, connecting with people and situations that are making you excited, or that help you kind of get to that next step, that next stage that you're looking for. I think you don't have a lot of time to be playful, if I'm going to be 100% honest. That's why I didn't talk about it at all in the reading, because it does feel like the energy's picking up. Again, we're seeing a lift in that stagnation. So the anemone, so letting go. Much like humans in the 21st century, most anemones lived a sedentary life, slowly gliding along the seafloor. But in times of necessity, they detach, catch a current, and brave the open sea. Now it is time to review your life. Determine what you really need and then let go of the things that limit your happiness. 100%. I love that. So eloquently, embodies what this reading has been all about. And I think some of that playfulness with this Bigfoot energy is about you in that process of letting go, right? Playing around with what the fantasies are, with what the ideals are going to look like coming in, right? The things that you have to reveal to yourself that you do, there is potential. There is potential. There are things that are happening for you. And I think it's things that you can even practically, physically acknowledge. Like, this is getting better. Things are getting better. There was an affirmation that came up on my feed today, and it was, like, in 3 months' time, my mental, emotional, financial, physical is going to be in a completely different place. And if we look back 3 months ago, it's so much happens, there's so much happens, maybe not a lot, but so much as this at the same time. I even feel that, like, with the channel, if I miss a couple days or a week or whatever, when I come back, it's like I just feel like I have all these new, like, it's just a different lens. It's a different perspective. It's a deeper understanding and knowing. And that's where rest really becomes our best friend. Again, emphasizing that rest and activity, that balance, integrating that balance, making sure that one's not dominating the other. Okay, so then we have sequoia, the great sequoia, the lifespan of 3,000 years. Although 80 years is short for a sequoia, the human years, it affords us time to gain footing, to gain clarity, to find knowledge about our world. And then, okay, this is kind of weird, sorry, and I'm reading it weird. It said, okay, that said, it's basically saying, like, we get 80 years in our life. And it says, don't sit around and think about it. Get out there and live it. Sorry, I made that more complicated than necessary. But I think that's such a beautiful way to wrap up our reading, right? So this is the time, just like I was saying in the very beginning, winter, it's cold, we hermit. It can feel a little like treacherous and arduous, etc. But as the spring comes, as there's new hope, promise, new life in the air, that's when we can actually get out and live it. Not that we can't in winter, but it just looks a little bit different, right? And I feel like this is a lot about what has been bubbling underneath the surface for you. The things that are starting to come up that you're like, yeah, I want that. I want my life to look like that. Getting the clarity around, who you are, like learning yourself more is what I'm hearing. Making choices that are in alignment with you, that do actually honor your heart. So you are living out of this vibration of happiness and abundance. And that's really what this is all about. And I'm not trying to throw a bunch of fluffy, fun words at it. But it's true, right? Like, when we think about what these words actually mean, aligning with self, knowing yourself, who you are, what you want, if that person makes you feel good or bad, right? And I do this, like, with my son, and it's always a great refresher for myself. If someone's making you feel bad, then why hang around them? You know what I mean? All it's going to do is bring you down. Sometimes we can control who we're around, who we have to engage with. Sometimes we can't, right? We just have to make the best of it. So, and there's a lot of these things that are popping up in our life that we do have to question, that we have to renegotiate with ourselves, with other people, what we are actually going to be investing in. And I love it. What I'm seeing is, like, you have the scaffolding, the foundation set up, right? And now it's just starting to plug in. Now it's starting to fill in, right? The walls, The electricity. No, I don't know. I don't know anything about construction, obviously. But that value, I should stick with my blank canvas analogy, right? It's time, you have your lines drawn and now it's time to fill in with all that color and all that, magic, that funness, etc. Sorry, I'm butchering. Oh, hey girl. Hey Karen, sorry, I'm just seeing this. No worries at all. I hope you're doing well. I so appreciate you. I'm sorry too. I should say, side note, that I didn't post that I was going to go live. It was a little bit of an impromptu. I didn't get to my midweek yesterday. I set off the fire alarm. My son was crying. It was like a spiral. So I just thought that was the universe saying maybe today is not the day. And, today, really going live today for the spring equinox, that was my desire, or Ostara. I hope you can find ways to just honor, bless, celebrate yourself, celebrate your life, plant some seeds, set honor, sacrament to who you are, and just the beauty that you're inviting into your world. It's such a beautiful time to do so. And thank you always for joining. I super appreciate you all. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here always. Definitely drop comments below. I know you do. Thank you. I appreciate you, Karen. Always. You're the best. You're so sweet. Thank you. No, it just honors and blesses my heart. And that's really what I love. I think there's so much beauty in coming together and connecting, community, collective energy. It's such a beautiful thing. It's such an empowering thing. And I'm glad we could come together, and I appreciate everyone here. Thank you for your time, energy always. I hope you have a blessed Ostara. I hope you have a happy spring equinox. I'm sending love, blessings your way. I will be live tomorrow morning for our health and wellness. Have a fabulous day. All the love.